welcome back to Copperhead Customs. Today we're back on one of these. If you want to see which one it is, then you better stick around. So let's get back on the Chevy.
Yeah, let's start working on the Chevy.
So this is our 1938 Chev. And if you're new, you wouldn't know, but this is built by Holden.
I thought you said it was a Chevy.
Yes, I did. And that's right. Back in the day, Holden's built the Chevy cabs. So hence why it looks a little bit different to your American cabs. These ribs on the roof are a signature for the Holden built cabs. And they look absolutely awesome. Another signature is the 10-tonner lead they put in them. So anyways, we've given this one a 5-inch roof chop. We've put a Dodge bonnet and a Dodge nose cone on it, chopped them, put body lines in, done all sorts of stuff to make them look like they flow. And I think they do. We've also mounted this on a 1933 Chevy chassis that has had X-frames, it's been fully boxed in. It's got a Holden front end on it, a Mitsubishi 4-bar rear end, tub we've modified that came originally, I think, from a T-bucket. So it is a bit of a hopscotch of a car.
But that is what building rat rods is all about.
Yes, correct. That is what building cars like this is about. Is one, using what you have laying around, but two, and the most important, is making them all work together, which I think we are achieving very well. But anyways, enough of that
Talking malarkey.
and let's discuss what we're going to do today. So our nose cone is not mounted, so I think we should look at mounting this correctly. But the major job is going to be in here. That's right, our main job is going to be inside here. I think what we will attempt to start trying to do is let's build the floor. And we'll probably build the cab mounts. Yeah, so we'll build the cab mounts, we'll build the floor, so we're going to have to raise the floor up approximately 3 inches because we channeled the cab. Now I have some out there ideas for the floor, including lining them in road signs. But first we need to make a metal skeleton frame for all of that to mount to. Then when all of that is said and done and finished, we are going to mount all these signs. That's right, all of these are core flute signs, and we're going to line the roof and everywhere else that is visible with them. They all need to be glued in. We'll see how we go for time, but I also have a bit of a special surprise for our trans tunnel. So what does all that mean? It means a heap of fabricating. So let's get that seat out, get some metal and start building. And of course, we are too tight to go buy metal, so we'll be using whatever we find lying around in the scrap pile. So yes, if you haven't worked out our method of building, we will adjust our plan to use whatever we have lying around. So, admittedly, the perfect piece of metal would be a 3-inch tall piece of RHS to box in the sides, but I think I've only got 2.5 inch. So we will use that and we'll adjust our plan to suit. So yeah, the plan is we will run a piece of RHS along here, along the existing, this is part of the solid structure of the cab. We will run a new piece on top of this to bring us up to our chassis height. Now, the piece we have will make us level with this, but we've got to put our floor on. So what I'm planning on then doing is running some other, I think 1-inch RHS across the top of this, and I think we'll 45 or 30 degree the sides, and our floor will come along and just chamfer in to this piece that we are going to put here. So that is what my plan would be. Now, in the perfect world, if we went and bought metal, we would buy a 3-inch piece, which would bring this up 1 inch higher than this, and we could just weld our 1 inch to the sides and our sheeting could come straight onto the edges. But that would mean we spent money, and we don't want to spend any money. So we need to box this section in. We will then tie our cab mount into this major structure that we are going to build. We will have RHSs running across the cab for our floor structure, and hopefully all that works. Okay, we are back. So as you can see, what have we done? Right, well, we've taken the cab off the chassis because we need to neaten up all of these cuts that have been hacked down in here, all of this. We need to neaten all that up. We also need to get all of this rubbish cut out of in here. So it was too hard to do it on the chassis, so we'll do it in here. We've also got these braces here, need to be extended back up to there. That was never done. What I've done here is I've taken the tub off as well, and we've made our tub mounts. So I just got to finalise welding them. I've just put the tub back on and made sure they fitted. The plan is now to get the chassis finalised. There's nothing to it but to do it. Oakley dokley, it's the next day, and we've quickly torn the back end off. So we've pulled the diff, the fuel tank, shocks, 4 bars and the panhard bar off, and they're all outside. They can all be cleaned and painted and all of that good stuff. But I'm not happy with these shock mounts. It's not the position, it's the actual bolt hole sizes are no good. They're too big, they don't suit it at all. So what I'm going to do is I've found some new bolts that suit the Jag shocks perfectly. We're just going to cut these mounts off. We're going to make a couple of new mounts out of some RHS, 2.5 by 1.5 or something, whatever it is. We're going to grind up 2 mounts, drill 2 new holes in. Now I don't have the right size drill bit, but I do have a step bit. So we're going to use that, and I've got to pause for a minute. Okay, I just had semi-hard. Look, I'll zoom you in just there. If you see that there, that's the leg and a tail of a possum, and I thought it was a snake. Now I do have a possum that lives in the shed. As you can see, he's awake. He's snapped me, but I thought that was a snake from a distance. Oh, you're all close because I'm still zoomed in. So I was back here, I seen that, thought it was a snake. That's just Polly the possum in a different spot. Don't know what she is doing. But anyways. Oh, I hate snakes. Yeah, so I don't know what we were saying, but we've got to make new shock mounts. So I don't have the right size drill bit, so I'm going to drill them and then use a step drill. But anyway, we'll work it out. Oh, colly dokley. So this is what we've just quickly fabbed up for the shock mounts. Use the spade bit. I've never used one of those cone-shaped drills. They're actually really cool. But anyway, that's the right size holes, and we've beveled it out to fit the pipe. So that will get mounted up like this. Boom. And the shock will go in there like so. Boom, like that, basically. So plenty good. Nice, simple, easy. So let's go weld them on the chassis. Okay, we're back again. Tub painted black, inside the guards in there. Just did that with the brush. I've started painting the chassis. We've got some more. I've still got to get underneath and do the underneath section. And it's going to need another coat. Because we've got our brackets welded on. I'm not sure if the chassis is getting painted. We'll finish it in the morning. That's done. Then we've got to paint those parts outside as well. Okay, we are making some progress. Now, I haven't been recording it because it's all just boring stuff, painting and doing rubbish stuff. Chassis is all painted underneath, just one coat, good enough for now. You see the 4 nuts there, so I had them threaded in the plate before I did it. This one, on this side, I forgot to do. So they're done every 300 mil. And in the back piece here, we actually have 3 holes with plates behind them to tap on both sides. We're going to need something in this area, and we're going to have to do this one. Okay, so we have to drill, we've decided we're going to drill some holes and weld some nuts in along here. So that one over there is going to run the electrical. So we've got our starter motor. I thought that would be a better side. We'll run the electrical along there. We've put a battery tray in the tub. It's just for a small battery, but we've bolted in a battery tray in there, and we could, if need be, put another one next to it and link them up to make it a bigger battery. But they're these little batteries that I have an abundance of, this kind of size. So that means our electrical is going to be coming to approximately, have to come to around here with our main wiring to the starter, and then we have to continue to get to our tail lights. So electrical on that side. This side we'll run our fuel, because we've got our fuel line. And on our fuel tank, we have our fuel line here. So we'll run our fuel line along here. And this side is where we'll also run our brakes, which will be coming from here. So we'll run our brake line along this side as well. So we'll do one set of nuts along here that can pick up both the brake line and the fuel line. So every 300 mil, we've got to drill a hole and weld it. Then we'll just touch up the paint. In the back here, we'll throw the tap through these ones. Okay, we are back. Slow progress. I'm not quite sure where we were last time, but we got all those drilled, tapped, welded in all of our bolt holes. Now we've got our fuel line mounted. We also made some little brackets, just some little aluminium pieces wrapped around a bolt and then pinched together in the vise, then drill a hole in them, grind the edges up, make them look nice, and then a little piece of, it's actually a toolbox liner cut as a bit of an insulation, and we've ran that along. We've gone under this one because this is up, so it's still not going too low. And then we've gone through this member and we've actually grabbed a bigger piece of hose when we've gone through there and put a bigger piece of hose around it and cable tied it on as a insulation for that. And we've gone under this one. Now, I'm not sure if we're there or there, but I think we'll put another clip maybe here, holding that like that, is what I'm thinking. And I'm not sure which one we go to. So I've made it to the back one, and we can always trim it to there. And then up at the front here, we put a clip on our engine mount for our filter. And so that's all nice and neat there. So I think that's pretty good. So we've done all that. And then what we'll do is on here, we'll actually make another little bracket probably going up, is what I'd say we'll do. And we'll have our brake line running there. Oakley dokley. So we are back again with more done. We've got our brake line. We've just run it to here with a bit of excess. It's probably going to go into there. That little hole is what I'm thinking. And we've made our little, this is what I made for the brake line clips. So we've got that running along nicely up to the front, and we've left some excess at the front. That will have to go to a proportioning valve, I'm pretty sure. So we've got our fuel line, we've got our brake line done. We also drilled a couple of holes here for the electrical to come further back, and we put another clamp on there on that hose for the fuel line. We also, around the other side, we connected up our shifter linkages. So we've got all them happening down there. So our gear, shifter, boom. Okay, very good. Got that happening. So now we got to drill them out, and we got our exhaust. We got to do our exhaust. So we've made our exhaust, little straight pipe with a little, I don't even know what that is, like a little hot doggy type thing. We've just done a little slight little down sweep there. Got a little hanger here. So that's all very good. And we've just put a little kink there, and and we've just made it run parallel to the chassis rail. I think that's pretty good. We've got everything in the back done, all our 4 bars are in, everything in the back. We've got our panhard bar, actually flipped it and changed it. Happy with that. All new washers, bolt, all that's done. The shocks are in on our new shock mounts, that's all good. We need to get 2 nylocks for the bottom bolts down there. And of course all our bushings at the front need to be replaced. Other than that, I think everything's good. Wheels are back on, linkages done, lines done. I think we're ready to put the tub back on it and bolt that down. I think that's where we're at. Then we could push this out the way and we can concentrate on the cab. Okay, we are back. As you can see, the tub is on. I actually just lifted it on. And one thing I seen was I had these 4-bar bolts running through that way and then they were going to foul. So I've undone all them and put them in that way so that they can come off and on. Remembering we've got to change these bushes. So they're done. The tub is on and 4 bolts up from underneath, all done. And I've just done this. So we've mounted our indicators. These are the indicators we've used. And what we've done is we've got a ringy spanner, welded a washer to it, welded that to there. And I've got another ringy here to go onto the bottom of that light and welded a socket on the back to hold the wires. So that's our little contraption we've come up with. Something a bit out there. And from back here we've got our brake and tail, and then our little blinker above it. The light's pretty terrible, but there we go. We've got our brake and tail in here and our indicator there, and there's our little contraption we've come up with our brackets. Something a bit different. That means this is now all done, I'm pretty sure. Now we've got to get onto that. Okay, I don't know if you can see the 2 big goannas here. That one there, that's a different one, that's not Stumpy. He is, I'm getting up on the trailer in case they come. It was just luckily I decided to carry the dog. But that one there is big. Very big. Look, he's all perked up. So they're actually vicious and they're bad bites. So, but we don't mind them because they eat snakes and we hate snakes. So we don't mind the big goannas. Now they're only, that one big one, he's still only small. That other one's only a little baby. So I don't know if that's mum and... I know you want to get them, but you can't. See my little dog, he's vicious. You want to get him, don't you? You can't. Okay, we are back, Aruni, and we have started on the cab, of course. Now, we've cut these off, we've neatened up our cut down the bottom, both sides, cut them off, cut all our little bits of rubbish out. We've cut a bit of the dash rubbish out. We've got to get in here and wire brush all this, and we want to probably remove all the gauges and stuff as well while we're in here. These 2 pieces, we want to weld them in, new ones. And what I'm doing now is the firewall. So this is what it was like. Now this here's our chassis notch. It's where our chassis rail goes. And this here was cut to clear the motor. Then we got this void. It's ugly. So this is what I'm going to do is I've made a template, and we've cut this out. We've cut this basically around this fold out. We've got a piece here, and then we're going to put another little triangle piece in there like that, and then that will all clear back on the chassis. This is where our chassis rail is here, so that all clears everything, looks nice and neat, gives us a little bit more foot room as well. Then later on in here we'll drill a hole for our steering column somewhere. We don't actually know where that will be as yet, so this is what I'm going to do. So I've just made a cardboard template. You've seen me do this before. This is our other little piece. Now I could have done that in one piece and put a fold in it, but I was being a scab with the metal, so there was a piece that was that thick. So anyways, I'm going to do it in 2 pieces. I'll weld this and grind this down. So that's in, ground up, ready, clamped up, ready to be tacked in. So we'll tack that in, then we'll cut our other piece, do the same with that, and all get welded. And then later on, we'll have our big RHSs that run down here, and then we'll probably have a little one that runs across that picks this up, and our floor will butt up to there, all nice and neat. Okay, we are back. So this is what we have done. This is our new firewall. I think that looks pretty trick. So this is our chassis rail in here and in here. And we come along here. This will be our floor heading that way. And our tunnel there. So I think that should look pretty good. It's definitely better than all the different wobbles and curves and stuff that were in it. I think that looks pretty neat. So pretty happy with that. Now we've hit that with a bit of hammer tone paint. I'm not sure if that's because that hammer tone is very similar, so I'm not sure if that's how I'm going to leave it or what I'm going to do there yet. If we actually do some real patina, like real fake patina, or if we rust it or what. But at the moment that looks pretty good, I think. And we came in here. We've got in here with the wire brush on the grinder, and we wire brushed it all. And then we went and welded those two pieces in, those old that we cut out when we chopped it, so we welded them back in. So that's all had a wire brush, because I'm not sure, I may put some of the dynamating or whatever. We might dynamate the roof, we'll have a look at it. But we are all cleaned and ready to go in there. And then I've just gone up to the laydown yard and I've chopped this out. So I've got a chassis up there, I think it's a 49 chassis. So you can see that's a Chev steering wheel and column. And we'll have to do up the steering wheel, just fix these little cracks. Pretty simple, I think. Leaning towards this. So it's nice and long, so we'll cut it to suit. We'll get rid of the gear shift side. So that's what I'm leaning towards, putting that in it. Alright, we're back. So we just did this bit, the reinforcing piece in, well, the floor, razor, whatever. This is going to be a bit of a major structure. So that's stitched in through there. From this section, the door section on the outside, will fully weld it, but that ain't going anywhere. Let me give you a red hot tip, and we've done the one on the other side, as you can see. And then we can't really do any more of the floor structure now until it goes on. What we can do is we've got this little bit of rust repair in the corners, but I think we're going to look at our signs and our dynamating and whatever it is on the roof, because it's easier to do now. I know this video started as I was going to do the floor, and we've done all this work on the cab and the chassis and everything else, and the firewall and everything. Done all this extra work, so the video is going to be long, but we're going to get lots done. So I think now we'll go grab the dynamating and we'll see how that is going to stick to the roof. I'm not sure how well that's going to work, so we'll do a little test of that. Let's just do it, eh? Alright, back again. We've got them all welded in, and then we went and put in the dynamating, the Black Bulldog, all through the roof. That's all installed. We've started looking at what to do in the way of the rest of the roof, whether I was going to leave it with the dynamat or sign it, and we're going to sign it. So they're not installed properly, they're just wedged in, but that's how we're going to do it. We're just going to glue them now on. So we'll just get them in like they're wedged in, so they're not actually moving, but we'll throw a bit of glue on there as well. We'll just go through and cut them in, wedge them all in. We'll get the roof signed, and we'll get that row signed. And I don't think we're going to do this section because we have to do some welding in there when we do our floor. So I don't think we'll do this bottom section. We'll just do this section up there. So let's quickly will take me a few hours, but let's get those signs done. Alrighty, we are back. So this is what we've done, what we've decided to do. We haven't finished over on this side because we've got that one needed some props for the silicone to take. So we won't be able to do that till tomorrow because just up in that bend it wasn't happy. So what I've done is they pretty much wedge in, but we've put some dabs of the silicone around just to hold them as well. And then we've ran racing tape on the edges, just it's a bit to hold them together, but mainly just to clean all the edges up. So we've bent some up in the corners up in there. We've got the 2-speed ones, the reduced speed, so we'll do some up through this little corner in the morning. We've got that one in there. We've put this one in here, and what we've done is we've actually ran a bead of silicone around the window frame, and that just to neaten that one up. We'll do probably another yellow one over on there. Then we've come up here and we've put these 2 orange ones up in here as our little foot kick panels. Now this front up here, that's going to get dynamated. I'm not sure if we're going to put signs through here or not. We may, but we won't do that until it's on the car. So tomorrow in the morning, basically we want to get that one done and that side done. Alright, so this is our finished product. I think we ended up using the folder to fold these ones. It worked pretty good. We should have done that on those 2 yellow ones as well, but they're all glued in now, so it is a bit late. But yeah, we put these ones in the sheet metal folder and just went bing, 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 and did a little fold every ½ inch or so, and we got that curve nice. That's us done. So I think that looks okay. It's nicely lined and it looks better than just all the rust, I think. And remember, all these red ones will pretty much be covered with our seat, but you might just see little snippets of it. So that's what we've done on the inside. We've got our kick panels, like I said, there and there, and the roof's all done, and all of this is done. And we went all the way to the floor because I'm going to weld to these 2 uprights only. I'm not going to weld to the back panel, even with the floor. So I'm just going to weld to those 2. So I should get away with it because I'm going to weld to the top. Then I'm just going to butt the floor up to the back panel. And we are going to basically just seam seal that in. So I think they'll be okay to leave in, those ones. It was easier to put them in now. It was going to be a real pain to put them in later on. So I threw them in now. But anyway, that's us done. And I think just the gaffer tape lines look okay. It just gives us a nice neat edge instead of having the jagged edge of the sign. So anyways, we've got to keep going. I think where we're up to now is we'll flip it over. We'll do those 2 rust repairs. Then I think it can, and we've got to paint this first. We've got to quickly paint this. Then we've got to do the 2 rust repairs. Then I think it can be flipped over and put back on to the chassis. Alright, so we're back. We've done our rust repairs. We've done our rust repair down there, our one here, and we've welded that corner piece on, and we did a rust repair inside the door, and that corner piece has been welded top and bottom. Ground down, so that's all done. We've set up the sling, ready to lift it. We've moved the Oakland out the way. With this, we will just leave it like that and let it rust. And if it's not rusting quick enough, we will throw a bit of vinegar or acid or something on to promote it like we do. So anyway, the cab is now, I am pretty sure, ready. Finally, we're back nearly where we started. So we've got the block and tackle set up. We'll lift it up. It's going to get a little bit ugly at the start, I think. And then we'll get it up as high as we can. And then we'll push the chassis in, lower it down. Fingers crossed, it all works. And then we can get on to what this video started off with, which is the floor. So let's see how we go. Okay, this is where we are at. So we've started putting some metal through on the floor. So we've decided to go with some flat bar. Now, I know it's not as rigid as in it will have a little bit of flex this way in it, but it's all laying on top of the chassis and the cross member and everything anyway. It was all going to be laying across it. So I just thought that would be fine. And I need the room. I need the height. Putting that 1 inch or 1.5 inch RHS in pops the seat up higher and it gets me higher, and then I start to have to, so I needed as much room as I can, so I decided to run flat bar through it all. Now I've got to put some more in. I've ran one through the back, one through the middle, and then we've done this little diamond piece. It's welded onto the firewall and back, it's all welded back onto our structure. Now I haven't welded that along the side as yet. We're going to put some more pieces in, like I'll put another piece through the floor there. Then I just grabbed a sign because I was just like, right, let's grab some of our flooring sheets and see where they're going to actually end up. Because my plan with the sheets is to drill some holes in them every boom, 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 and spot weld them onto the flat bar. So that's my plan with these signs, is to cut them all in, drill holes where the flat bar is, and spot weld them on. And then when there's a sign join, so when the next sign starts, we'll do the same. And then I'm actually going to mask it all up, and I'm going to run a piece of seam seal along the join and have it black. Okay, so that's my plan in the floor. All right, we are back. The camera died on us. That's why we missed a fair bit there. But anyway, not to worry. You didn't miss a lot. Just lots of cutting and grinding. We've got our 3 mounts. So we've put welded an angle onto the chassis at the front there. And then we've got these 3 flat bars. They're like 1/2 inch thick. And they're welded on. All drilled. We need to go get some new bolts in the morning. And if you wanted it rubber mounted, you could stick a rubber mount in between them if you wanted, but we are not bothering now. We've got all our other bits in. So we've got our other braces all in. Now we've cut these. These will go here. This one will go in here. And that is where the base of our seat lines up. So then they'll get drilled. We'll drill some holes in them. We'll probably put some random holes in here, and we'll drill new holes into the seat, I'd say. Same over there. That one is half welded. The other one's sitting there. Then we've got these ones here. That's going to be where the join of our sheets are. So this is half of this is where that other sheet finishes. So we put one there so we can do the edges of our sheets. And I think the rest should be okay. We may put another one across there in the footwell, but I don't think we need any more really in here. I think that should all be very good. We'll see how we feel about it tomorrow. But we've run out of everything. So we're about to run out of welding wire. I was just trying to pump the last few bits out, but welding gas. We're about to run out of welding gas, and we ran out of welding wire. So we'll go get a new bottle of gas because that is about to die any second, and we'll get another roll of wire in the morning. We'll weld the rest of that up. Our sign is all cut and trimmed in, notched in everywhere at the back and on the sides, everywhere notched in, ready. So that can, once all this is welded, that can go in, and we'll work out where to drill it all so it can get spot welded in. We're going to use this sign. I've decided we're going to use that yellow sign in the footwell, and we still haven't looked at the trans tunnel. So anyway, we'll go get some more supplies and we'll re-adjourn. Okay, so we are back a Rooney, and we've gone and got our gas and our welding wire all replaced. So this is what we've done. We've welded these in. We've put one at the front there, a small one on each side. We've welded the other piece in, and we've put a small one here and here as well. And I think that's good enough. So we've also gone and marked where our runners are and where our mounts are, so we can transfer that onto the sheet to drill. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill a series of holes along here and along there and everything, and on our framework to spot weld the panel over there on. So that's the plan. So our next port of call is we've also gone and got the bolts to mount it down. So I think we'll throw them in, and I've also marked where they're going to go. So I think our next step might be to put that sheet in and mark it out, and also make some cardboard templates for the front 2 sheets, and then we'll make them and mark them out, and then we'll drill them all out. And before we install them, I think we might start looking at our trans tunnel, what we're going to do. So we've got a few options, but we'll run through that when we get to it. Okay, this is what we have done now. I'm pretty sure you've seen we did our 2 templates for the floor, so we're about to cut them out. This is what we ended up with doing for our trans tunnel. Now this is my second or third attempt. My first attempt was with a 20-litre drum, an old rustic one, and it looked really good, but some goober cut too much off the sides to try to get it down a bit when he had it pretty much perfect and cut too much off. Now I do have another 20-litre drum, but it still wasn't quite the look. Like, it looked really good, but I just wasn't quite sure about it, and the other one was a little bit too new. So then I hummed and hawed about what to do next, and what I've done is I've grabbed a sign, an aluminium sign. So I hummed and hawed about whether to do it out of a road sign, like maybe a white one or something. But in the end, what I've decided to do is do it out of an aluminium sign, and what we're going to do is we're going to sand a fish scale pattern on it. I think that might look pretty trick. We'll do it nice and neat. So that's what I've decided. So this is how we actually curved the panel and then bend that in the folder as well. So we've got it curved here, bent there. We've got a bolt here, and we'll bolt here. We've welded a couple of brackets on, and I think that should work. So, and then what we'll do is we'll put the rubber boot over there like that, with a little chrome trim, with our big huge shifter sticking out, and I think that should look pretty trick. Okay, we are back. So we've got lots done. There's our floor, and that is all welded in solid as a rock. Now we'll go around and I'm either going to mask a line or I'm going to cut something in a circle and go I think we'll just put a little bit of black paint on all of them. The join here will probably mask up and do a line and stuff like that, but these ones I'm not sure if I'm going to do a line or just do individual circles. And I've been playing with my trans tunnel. Now I've been using the little air sander thing to give us a pattern. I've got two different patterns now. This is what I originally wanted to do, is nice little fish scales, but I didn't think it was turning out as good because my disc isn't quite right, and this is all a bit dented up from, we probably should have done this before we shaped it all. So it's a little bit tricky, but it looks pretty good there. Or on the sides here, I'll put it out. I did a different style where I just did little baby fish scales. I suppose that does look a bit messy. I think maybe we'll continue back with this technique here. I think that looks better, doesn't it? Yes. So there you go, I'm just talking out loud. And so we'll continue with that in the morning. That fits in there, and as you can see we put a lip up as well, but we got our two little braces there to mount this on with. So that will be like this. Fits. Right, so that will be, that's how that's going to look like. So I don't know, I think that looks pretty trick. Now we also have to, we're going to dynamite or whatever it's called, the the firewall. We're going to dynamite that. So anyway, the more I do in here, I'm really looking at the dashboard now. I think it needs to be painted. And for those of you who didn't see the little video I put out last week, but we had a little glimpse of when I went and got the steering wheel. Well, here's the steering wheel that I did. Quick refurb on. So that's going to have to go in. I don't know if we'll put that in this video because this video is long. We've done so much work in this video. It is ridiculous. The amount of hours I've put in. We're nearly at 2 weeks of me working every day down here for this video. So lots of effort. So we've got to do these little corners. Have to be done. We've got to weld this fully yet. Then we're going to do some little tricky stuff there. Finish our trans tunnel. Do our firewall. We've got heaps. Alrighty, we are back, Rooney. We're getting close. The floor is fully welded. Like you see, I've now gone through and painted all the welds and painted the edges in. I've made these little tiny corner pieces and welded them in. And then this little gap along here, we'll probably mask up and put a little bit of sealant. We'll see how we go. And maybe on this one, I'm not 100%. We may just leave them because they're actually pretty good. We have welded some nuts on our little brackets there for our trans tunnel that we have made. And we've just fully welded in our strengthening support. Now these bolts are the cab mount bolts. They're just sitting in. We haven't gone in underneath to do them up yet. Here is our finished trans tunnel with our beautiful looking pattern. See, you just spend a little bit of time and you'll get a beautiful looking pattern, and that looks very good. You would have to agree, better than doing it all messily. So that will sit in here like this, something like that, and get bolted down and will look a treat. So now what are we up to? We need to let this cool down, this weld, but we need to do the dynamatting on the front there, and then we need to do what we're going to do here to finish this little edge off. Then probably put our shifter and our shifter boot on, mount our trans tunnel back in properly, and there's something I want to do up the top around the door frames, around the top of the door frames I want to do. I'm not happy with how they turned out up there. I want to change that a little bit. So we've got to do that, and then I think we're pretty well done. We can't do any sealant at this stage till I finish it. Otherwise I can't get in there. Keep going. It's going to look awesome. Okay, we're back. We're getting close now, guys. So we've got our trans cover. Look at it. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Look at the pattern. Hey, how good does it look? We've got that mounted, bolted down. We've got our rubber cover with our little chrome trim mounted. We've got our lever back on, our monster spanner. But look at that sucker. That's crazy. We've got our dynamat in the firewall, all done, beautiful. We've come along and pop riveted some number plates along here to cover this and that, our strengthening piece. I think that looks pretty trick now. If we stand back here, when you come up to the car, hey, that looks pretty trick, I think. All of that's painted. And then, I'll spin you around, hopefully you're looking at it. We've done this little number plate edge on there. I thought that finished it off. We'll go look at the other side, probably better. Here, I'll zoom through here. And we put some number. Now they are not real number plates. These come from a movie set, and they are like a Perspex type number plate. So if anyone's carrying on about me chopping up number plates, they are only Perspex. And So we chopped a few of them. I got about 100 of them that I bought at auction off of one of the movies. Might have been the Elvis movie or something, whatever. Who cares what movie it was, but we bought them. And here's the other side. Hey, how good is this looking? I'm pretty chuffed. So what we got to do now, I think we're nearly there. I think that's about nearly done. We're going to put the seat in and we'll go from there. Well, we got heaps done in this episode. We painted the chassis and made new shock mounts. We painted and rebuilt all the suspension. We ran the new fuel line and mounted it. And we did a brake line and mounted it. We made an exhaust so it doesn't go vroom vroom anymore. And we made tub, bed, tray mounts and mounted it. We mounted the shifter linkages, we dynamated the roof, and then we put signs in them. We welded these reinforcements back in and lined the back wall with signs. We dynamated the firewall. We made a trans cover with a pretty pattern. We mounted our shifter properly. Look. We made kick panels. We mounted the cab. We put in the floor. We did all the floor steel work. We put number plates up here and we put more here. We mounted our indicators. Some say blinkers. We did our rust repairs here, here and here. We made the cab mounts and reinforced all the cab. So all in all, we did heaps. So I think you'd have to agree that this has turned out absolutely amazing. The interior now matches the outside of the car and we have a floor. And that was an absolute ton of work that we achieved in this episode. In the next one, hopefully our steering column components arrive. We're going to look at the dash, the windows, we'll mount the seat, and then we'll do what we were meant to do in this one, and we'll mount the nose cone. So that has got this car getting way closer to being completed. And with that said, I'll say thanks for watching and we will see you next week.